Exclusivity in the video game industry has been a thorn in the side of many of us for a very long time. It's an ongoing debate for console players who very often justify system purchases on the basis of exclusives alone. But the mere thought that we would have a similar debate in the PC space seemed almost ludicrous. Well, Epic Games is here to force us to have that exact debate, by which I mean they don't force us at all, but more than anything, it's an interesting topic that I felt like diving deep into. As PC gamers, we are very much used to seeing everything but the most hardcore console exclusives on our platform, and specifically Steam as a distributor has been synonymous for PC gaming as a whole. For a very long time, every game that wanted to reach a wide audience in the PC gaming community would find its way onto Steam. Though it is no surprise that having that kind of monopoly, Steam has gotten a little complacent. The process of elimination as to which games they do and don't allow on the platform has been criticized for many years. And more than anything, the sheer amount of garbage on the platform makes browsing the catalog more annoying every year. Not to mention the steep cut that Steam expects from publishers and indie developers alike. The natural conclusion here was for publishers that got tired of sharing so much of their profit with Steam to create their own platforms, and some of them have been doing a better job than others. While the whole infrastructure surrounding the social aspects on Uplay has been extremely lackluster and caused problems in many of their multiplayer games for years, Ubisoft incentivizes players to keep playing their games by allowing them to get achievements. These achievements grant the players currency that they can use on in-game items for selected titles, as well as a straight up 20% discount on their store. It was a great system for fans of Ubisoft games that have been rewarded for their loyalty to the company, enhancing the experience of their titles while also receiving discounts on new and upcoming games. EA, on the other hand, created Origin, and over time introduced a subscription service that comes with many benefits. Players get access to a vault of old games that they can play for as long as they're subscribed, while also getting up to 10-hour access to their new blockbuster titles. And the premium subscription goes even further than that, granting full and even early access to the most premium edition of every new game that ends up on the platform. But all of these offerings are lacking the sleek, user-friendly design that Steam has managed to perfect over the years. Social functions have been integrated seamlessly into any game on the platform, whereas these exact things tend to be very clunky and annoying in the case of many of their competitors. Not to mention that Steam has established itself as a PC game distributor as opposed to a company-specific game launcher. Publishers like Ubisoft, when allowing their games on Steam, are still going to require the users to make a Uplay account, and the game, even when launched over Steam, still takes advantage of the first-party platform to actually run it. It has gotten to the point where so many of these launchers exist that some people went out and made a launcher that streamlines the experience of running games by putting them all into one convenient app. Granted, it is a hassle to keep all these launchers up to date, and having to go out of your way to use a platform by force rather than by choice will always be annoying to many users. And that's where Epic Games comes in. Because Epic Games, in old console war fashion, goes out and buys exclusive rights to publish highly anticipated games on the platform, as opposed to the most popular one, Steam. Now, to be fair, these deals are restricted to a 12-month window, however, it's still enough to piss many players off. Epic Games is in kind of an interesting position here. While Fortnite allowed them to establish themselves in the mainstream, many core gamers look down on them for that very achievement. Naturally, the mainstream is where most of the money is to be had, and thus Epic Games has a lot of it to spare. And now they are introducing PC gamers to the concept of staggered launches in form of an exclusivity window. Now, first and foremost, I want to dismiss the argument that this is actually the equivalent of a console war. Anyone who thinks that downloading a third-party launcher is even remotely close to having to buy an entirely new system is out of their mind. Or perhaps just very, very aggravated. It is annoying, yes, but you are not spending a few $100 for the privilege of giving another company even more money for video games. And while I could spend my time discussing the developer and publisher perspective of getting a better cut on the Epic Games Store, while also getting paid upfront for the exclusivity itself, to many consumers, that honestly doesn't matter. Yes, it is a point we can use to explain away the decisions that are being made, but that is not the core of the discussion. It's Epic Games' position in the core PC gaming community. Barely anyone complains about the Division 2 being on Uplay as much as barely anyone complains about Anthem being on Origin, and that's because they are first-party titles, released on their native platform. Over time, we've accepted that any publisher big enough to create a launcher is going to do that exact thing. The reason that Epic Games is pissing us off so much is because they are not a first-party developer in the case of Metro Exodus, and now the Outer Worlds. And everyone is painfully aware that they have spent money to keep these games off of Steam. And more than anything, PC gamers are used to having one thing: choice. While the Epic Games Store is lacking many features that Steam has perfected over the years, it's not like it's an inherently terrible platform. For one, it's much better curated than Steam, making sure that users are not lost in a tidal wave of asset flips while trying to browse for genuinely good games. Furthermore, Epic Games are straight up gifting players games on a regular basis, and these are nothing to scoff at either. However, it is also a fact that it very much feels like they are putting more money into trying to force users onto the platform via exclusivity, as opposed to putting the money into actually improving the platform. Epic Games is actively trying to combat Steam's monopoly, but they're not going to win that fight without creating a platform that is either on par with Steam or, quite frankly, superior. And right now, it's hard to say that they are anywhere near that goal, but it is worth mentioning that all of that will be done more for the sake of gaining the goodwill of core PC gamers than for the sake of increasing profits. Because fact of the matter is that, while we can shout the loudest, that does not make us more significant in the grand scheme of things. Because as long as the Epic Games Store is home to one of the most popular games on the planet, and as long as they get more high-profile games on the platform without polluting it like Steam, I suspect that their strategy is going to work out in the long run. All the crying and kicking in the wall is not going to stop this company from taking the fight to Steam. And if they have the mainstream on their side, odds are that they're going to be successful. Never forget that people are exponentially more likely to complain about something they don't like than defending something they feel indifferent about. And do you really think that the bulk of players buying these games really care that much about whether they get them on Steam or the Epic Games Store? If somebody really wants a game, they're gonna get it from wherever they have to, as long as it's convenient enough. Personally, I don't agree with the sentiment that whatever Epic Games is doing should be considered a dick move or anything. Primarily because I feel like the outrage that has sparked in response to this has gone way out of control. More than anything, I consider this a minor inconvenience. I've been playing games off of other launchers for years now, leaving Steam as a social tool more than anything. Overwatch on Battle.net, The Division on Uplay, Battlefield on Origin, and the list goes on and on. I get that this is probably really annoying to anyone who primarily uses Steam, but honestly, I highly doubt that this is going to matter in the long run for the absolute vast majority of players that end up buying games off of the Epic Games Store. That's it for my 2 cents on the Epic Games exclusive controversy. I'm probably not making a lot of friends with this video, but hey, that's not the point anyway, is it now? As always, feel free to leave all of your thoughts surrounding this topic down in the comment section below. And if you happen to enjoy this video, don't forget to drop me a like on your way out and subscribe if you want to see more. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you guys next time.